Hey guys, Troy Vanos here. I wanted to share with you today on this live just some of the things that I've been working on recently that have really helped me compress my iron shots. I wanted to share these with you and hopefully you'll get some value out of them and they will help you out as well. So I'm just going to move this over a tad here. So this is what I've been working on at the moment with my iron. So I've been really focusing hard on, quite often when I'm practicing, I cup my trail wrist and I'm really trying to keep that bit of cupping all the way through to impact with my iron shots. That's one of the feels I've got when I'm standing on the tee and I'm waiting to hit my shot. I'm constantly got that trail hand cupped and I'm doing this sort of rehearsal move like this. And the other thing I'm doing is my trail elbow, I'm really feeling like that's sort of jamming into my rib cage. It's almost glued there on the downswing. That's a feel I've got, and I'll rehearse that several times before I hit a shot, particularly obviously on an approach shot or on a par 3. I'm constantly doing this, just really getting that feel like this, that I've got that better connection. Because what happens is when you got that connection, I'll just go up to the top here, when you got that connection with that trail wrist and that elbow into your rib cage, helps you retain lag. And I usually try to get somewhere around that trail thigh with the club head parallel to the ground still, somewhere out there. And if you get to there, then from there you can just keep rotating through and get forward shaft lean and really compress the golf ball. So there's 3 feels that I recommend doing. I've made videos on these before, but these 3 things, when you can piece them all together, I don't want you thinking about all 3 of them when you're on the tee because that'll just confuse you. But if you can work on these 3 things, that will help you compress the golf ball and get more distance and accurate with your irons. Now the third one that I work on is my lead shoulder. I've got a bad habit, or used to be a bad habit at least, as I'd start my downswing, I'd lift that lead shoulder up like this straight away, usually in an effort to shallow out the golf club. But all that does is it gets me in an awkward position where I have to use a lot more wrist movement to time up the golf shot. And you'd have days where you do hit the ball well, but then you'll have other days where you don't hit it well at all. So my feel, and the other thing that also does, when you lift that shoulder up too high like that, it throws your hips forward into like a sliding position like this. And you can really feel it there. It's not good for your hip joints at all. They don't rotate, they're just sliding. My feel is, as I start my downswing, I like to feel my lead shoulder is getting lower. Now it will naturally go up eventually, but my feel is that that lead shoulder is getting lower as I start down. So here's the feel as I get to the top of my backswing. As I start down, I'm feeling like that lead shoulder is lower. Because what that does, it gets me stacked on my lead side. And from here, I can rotate through to impact. That one little feel has made a huge difference. Just got some birds, some wildlife around here. That one little feel with that lead shoulder has made a massive difference in me being able to compress my iron shots. And when you start compressing them, they travel further, you become a lot more accurate. So that's the feel that I want you to work on, is when you get to the top of that backswing, it's feeling that lead shoulder lower, and then we're really gluing that trail arm to our side and then rotating through. And if you can do that feel, lead shoulder low, there, it's going to lead to a lot more compression with your iron shots. And when you're compressing them, they're going further, they're going straighter, and you're going to have less shots that don't come off that center part of the face. My bad shot's always been a toe shot. I know a lot of people have problems with the heel, but if you can really piece together those 3 things, work on one of them at a time. Don't work on all 3 of them at once. You might sort of feel like, oh yeah, I do get trail wrist. I get a bit of trail wrist bend and I feel like my elbow is tucked. I do that okay. but you don't move your lead shoulder quite as well as you know you could. So mate, you might only need to work on here, lead shoulder low. It is such a powerful move. And when you do that, lead shoulder low, you'll find that naturally helps you shallow out the golf club as well. And you just strike the ball a lot more consistent, especially with these irons. It makes a massive difference to your ability to strike these irons. So I'll show you from down the line. Just make sure we don't hit this camera. So we got lead shoulder low. And you can see as I do that, I can shallow it. Lead shoulder low. You can see the club shallowed. Lead shoulder low. And then through. It is a powerful move. I don't see enough amateur golfers I see working on this. They're always working on either shallowing it or doing other things. But if you can just focus on getting that trail wrist to get a bit of cupping in it, keep it close to your ribs. This is what it looks like from down the line. See how it feels like it's close and that trail arm is bent? That's the move. That gets the club shallow and it stops you being so flippy through impact. This is the old me that used to do it. See how the elbow and the arm come across from your side eventually. They have to. But what I'm saying is I don't want you to do this and pull it off your side too quickly. The feel you need to have, and this is very much a feel, is that it stays to your side almost all the way down to pre-impact position, right on that trail thigh. Stays on your thigh, and then it will come away as you strike the golf ball. So does anyone have any questions about that? Any problems with your irons? Why you think you're not compressing your iron shots? I'm happy to answer any questions. This has been a real game changer, I know, for my golf game. And I know it can really help you out as well. So for you, depending on what your issue is, if you're hitting them off the toe, for example, it's quite likely when you're coming down, you're getting further from the ball. You can see that lift up with my head. Further away you get from the golf ball, the more likely you extend the arms to reach the golf ball. But because you're getting further away, you're very likely to hit it on the toe. But that feel of getting that trail elbow more tucked to your ribs, it means you will maintain a better distance from the golf ball. Your chest will be the same distance away from the golf ball. Chest stays the same distance. And when the chest stays the same distance as it was at setup away from the golf ball, you increase your chances of striking it solid and hitting that golf ball a lot further. Now with this trail wrist, if you're someone that does this a lot of flippy action, so from face on, see here the club head overtakes the hands. Just doing this as a practice drill. Here's a straight trail wrist, just bend it and practice getting impact like this. Do this as a pre-shot routine before you hit your shot on the tee. You really feel like it maintains cupping. And what you'll find is when you start striking them, you'll have this wonderful, see how much forward shaft lean I've got there? You've got this wonderful forward shaft lean. And when you hit the ball, it'll bounce off the club face and you get a lot more compression. The ball will fly further. And you'll find when the ball hits the green too, you're going to get a lot more spin, check spin on the green. And it's a wonderful feeling, especially with these irons when they're compressed properly. And things like lag, they take care of themselves when you do this. When you do this, with that trail wrist, lag is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of how it's moving. Because when you get to here, you'll see the club will still be parallel to the ground, and it's just a matter of rotating. Keep rotating. So those three feels, okay? So I want cupping on that trail wrist, keep that elbow that trail elbow feel like it's glued to your trail ribs. And the final one I mentioned was this lead shoulder, feeling like it goes down at the start of the downswing. Those three things combined are going to turn you into a excellent ball stroke with your irons. This will work from pitching wedge all the way up to your 4-iron or 3-iron or whatever it is you use. And you're going to strike the ball much better and find the game of golf a lot easier. So does anyone have any questions? I can't see any there at the moment. I'll just check. Don't see any questions there. No, I don't think there's any questions there today. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I am going to try to do more of these lives to help you out for any particular issues you got with your golf game. So I appreciate those who've tuned in today. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And good luck on the golf course, and I'll see you soon.